That's stuff that you've just been talking to me about, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, like, calling the police on her?
Um,
Because she needs therapy.
no, actually, no, I didn't think about calling the police. I thought about calling, like, well, yeah, but not to have her arrested, because you only really arrest people when they commit crimes. She didn't actually commit the crime because he didn't actually die. So luckily for her, it's not too late to get help before she does have to get sentenced to life in prison and shit like that. But my thing is, when you're a sociopath, here's the thing about being a sociopath: you don't care. Sociopaths don't care if they're sent to prison. Like, man, it's one of those things where, like, it's hard to work with a sociopath, because if you call the police on a sociopath and the police show up, the sociopath is so good at pretending that they're like normal people, they can easily trick the cops into thinking that they're innocent, like easily, blink of an eye, just like that. They don't have to do. It's not magic or anything. I'm not saying like they snap their fingers and they actually, but I'm saying like they could come off as innocent and make you look guilty and shit like that. It's fucking crazy. The best way I could describe a sociopath to you, and you'd get it, is if, like, you actually watch an interview with a sociopath. Like, there are plenty of them out there on YouTube. You can watch interviews and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, they seem like such nice people, but in reality they're the kind of people that would, like, fuck you in your sleep. Like, I'm not kidding. They would definitely fuck you in your sleep. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. It's creepy, actually.
Yeah, that's definitely creepy, yeah. It's not, of course it's going to be creepy. I mean, like, you got someone like that in your family. Of course it's going to be creepy. She needs therapy, intense therapy.
Yeah. Luckily, sociopathy is, as they call it, that's curable. Psychopathy, that's not curable. If you're a psychopath, like, I used to think that psychopath and sociopath are the same thing. They're not. They are not. They're Psychopath is like a sociopath in a way, but the difference is that a psychopath is a sociopath to an extreme. Like, so
you know what
a sociopath might. Yeah.
What is it?
Okay, so a sociopath is like, they would kill somebody and not care, and then when they get arrested, they might, like, be slightly scared and slightly afraid. They might fear for themselves just a little bit. Like, they'll be 40% of them would be kind of scared if they were getting arrested, but the other 60 wouldn't really care. But a psychopath is the kind that would kill a person, probably kill multiple people, get arrested, not care, might even kill the people in the prison cells. Who knows? Might even kill the guard. So a psychopath is like a fucking mastermind. Like smart as hell. Like a psychopath would probably, okay, better example. A psychopath is the kind of person who would apply to a college, like, in all this shit, just so that he can kill all the college students. Like, that kind of level. That's a psychopath. My niece is sociopath. She feels fear, but she doesn't care about others' lives. She wants people dead. Mostly her brother. And my job is to make sure that she doesn't kill him. Like, I have to make sure that she does not kill him. Cause the last thing I need is to get a phone call saying that my nephew's dead because my niece flipped out and decided to just go ham on him for no fucking reason at all. He's not 6 yet. He's not even 6 yet, so he didn't even experience, like, 20% of his life yet. He's really young. And I'm not saying it would be good if you. I'm not saying that if he was old, then it's okay if she kills him. I'm saying that it's more expected for a person to kill somebody who's older than somebody who's just who like recently took their first breaths. Is what I'm saying. And also, older people, and by older people I mean like middle age, you know, or like fully grown. They have a better pain tolerance than children. For example, like a child could fall and scrape their knee and they'll cry. Grown up scrapes their knee, they don't cry, of course. But, like, grown ups can handle pain better than children.
Yeah. Is this guy not even gonna revive me? Oh no, he is.
Wait, what?
This guy is gonna revive me.
Oh.
Zum Glück hast du mich.
I did something that I regret. Like, I deeply regret it. And I don't know if you're going to forgive me for this. I mean, I'd expect you to, only because, like, it's not that bad what I did. Like, what I did wasn't really that bad. It's just something that I think about a lot. When I got sent to the mental hospital, there was this one girl. I don't want to say she asked me out necessarily. I think she was like kind of desperate because there were no other like somewhat slightly good looking guys there. And also like the only other guys that were there had terrible hygiene. So she went for me, I think. So I was the best out of the group. But the thing was, I didn't want to be associated with anybody in the mental hospital. My main goal was getting out. So I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for any of that. I was just looking to get out and go home and go back to doing whatever the fuck I usually do. I didn't want to be friends with anybody there, because if I'm friends with them, it's just going to remind me of that time of being in the hospital. I don't want... Yeah, so what I did was, she asked me for my number, right? And shit like, well, she didn't ask me for my number immediately, but she asked, if we could, hang out and shit like that. I was like, I kind of hesitated on the answer, but I said, yeah, because I was afraid. I was like afraid. Yeah, so what happened was, later on she asked, for, numbers and shit, and I was like, oh my god, here we go, I gotta do this. I hesitated, but I gave her 2 numbers, and I said one, this is what I did, right? I had to pull a trick on her so that she could stay away from me. And it wasn't because I hated her, it wasn't because I thought she was hideous or some shit like that, no. I just didn't want to have anything to do with people in the mental hospital, because it was just going to remind me of that time. You understand, right? So I said, okay, I'll give you, the 2 numbers. And I regret this deeply, because I gave her 2 fake numbers, and I said, she didn't know they were fake. I gave her 2 fake numbers, and I gave her the paper. I said, now, one of these could be... Explaining it makes me feel like shit. I said, one of these is my actual number, because I think the other one could be a mistake or a mess up. And we didn't have our phones at the time. We weren't allowed to have our phones. So I said, yeah, I think this, this number might not be right, but if this number isn't right, then try calling this one instead. And I had to pull kind of like a smartish move and like be as convincing as possible so that she wouldn't keep asking me and shit like that, or like interrogating me. So I gave her the 2 numbers, and then when they called me out and it was time for me to leave after I'd done my time in the hospital, I just went out like immediately. I took my shit and I went, like no hesitation. But I kept the smile so that she wouldn't suspect anything. Like I feel guilty. I feel like sometimes I question my true intentions. Like what was my main goal? Like why I did it. But then I keep remembering, like, it would have been a terrible relationship to be with someone who you met in like a really rough time. It's not going to be good for you or them. So I said it was for the best, but I wish I did it in a less manipulative way. Like maybe I should have said it to her face rather than saying like giving her a false number. But the only reason why I did that is because I was sure that she was gonna find someone else anyway, so I didn't really think much of it, because there are like other fish in the sea and shit like that. So I was like, you know. But I'm certain that she's gotten over me, because it's not like we knew each other that deeply, really. We only knew each other for like 2 days actually, not even 3, because she got sent to the hospital like 3 days after I already spent my time in there. So I had 2 days left because I had spent the full 5 days. So I had 2 days left, and yeah, it was horrible. Horrible. I had nightmares of that place for a long time. Rarely I'd still have them. Rarely, not as much. But like every now and then I might like dream about the place, or maybe like being in a different place. Yeah, it's horrible. They're useless.
Who's useless?
The mental hospitals. They're useless. They're like, they don't. Cause like think about it. If you send somebody who's like threatens to kill themselves to a mental hospital, and then there's 2 things that can happen. 1, they might get even worse, or 2, they'll kill themselves anyway, but in a different way. Like there are so many ways a human being could kill themselves in a mental hospital. They could do anything. Like they could do anything in the hospital. So they're not really safe. They're just using mentally ill people for profit and shit like that. They're just using them for money. They get mentally sick people who are ready to kill themselves. They already feel useless, and then they send them to a hospital just so that they can get used for like fucking money and shit like that. And that's it. And you get sent right back home. So yeah, the mental hospital doesn't do anything. Yeah. You're better off just talking.